Welcome, welcome. Today's conversation is going to be very, very dynamic. This is Lauren Fogelman with Business Success Solution, and I show accounting firm owners how to be able to double their revenue while working half the time. The topic is how to improve your client journey to receive more referrals, and I am talking with Kenny Harper today. So you are in the right place if you want to learn how to improve your client experience in order to be able to get more qualified referrals. Discover the client journey strategies that will grow your accounting firm and find out how to build client loyalty without having to work any additional hours. So Kenny's going to be sharing a lot. I suggest you either have pen and paper or open up your notepad to take some notes. And a little bit about Kenny. Kenny is a certified marketing advisor and business growth coach. He partners with business advisors to help them better support their clients by optimizing marketing and sales systems. As a co-founder of Growth Amplifiers, Kenny empowers entrepreneurs to amplify their business success. He also hosts the Growth Amplifiers podcast, where he interviews thought leaders to share insights on improving business performance as well as results. And if you want to find out more about Growth Amplifiers, you can go to growthamplifiers.com, and the link is below as well. So now that we have all of that out of the way, Kenny, thank you so much for joining me today.
Excited to be here connecting with you. You know what they say, rock stars tour together. And I really do appreciate the things that you're doing, the community that you're leading, and all the ideas that you put out there to amplify others in the world. It's truly impressive and great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, I think it's like-minded people like us that we're here to lift others up. Because when we do that, they lift others, and it's just this natural wave of goodness that can be spread. So, okay, I want to know how you got into doing this as far as helping business owners with their sales and their growth and amplification.
Going to try to do the long story in a short format. First passion was playing music. So hence the name Growth Amplifiers, connects with my music background. I was playing in bands and wanted to make a career out of it. I had the passion, I had the skill, but I didn't know the business side of being in business. So you can't just run with passion. You need to have the other side too. Fast forward a few years. I went through college, graduated in marketing, found another creative outlet for myself, worked for different advertising agencies, helping clients and accounts grow their business. Then hit the ceiling there and then said, I kind of want to try my own thing. I like working with people directly. If not now, when? I jumped ship. This was about 2011 and uh, got into doing web design and marketing. And I found out something else. I still didn't know the business side of running a business. I knew how to do the marketing, but there's a lot more. So, long story short, I got into this really identifying. You can know the tactical part, but there's so many other pieces and parts and components that you need to know to have a holistic approach to growing your business and to effectively market, to effectively enroll new clients into business. So it takes me from the music coming back full circle, and now I realize that there are a lot of other people out there that have a unique passion and they're using their gifts, but sometimes they have gaps. Whether they're having an internal marketing person, whether they have a marketing agency, whether they're doing it themselves, there's gaps. And if you don't fill the gaps, it's like pouring water into a leaky bucket. So knowing that that is the case, it is my mission now to help people fill in their gaps so that they can get better return on investment for their time, their money, and make a bigger impact in the world.
And I think that what you're sharing is that we have this idea that we're going to be going in one path, and through the course of life, that
Hmm.
path kind of meanders, it tangles, it has detours in it, and you end up doing something else. But what I do hear throughout your whole story is you've been able to really bring your gifts, which is the creative side of seeing things, and maybe looking out of the box in order to be able to help business owners.
Yes, that is one of the things uh, my on my website, kennyharper.rocks or growth amplifiers. You can see our video testimonials, and that's the feedback that I get is I had all these ideas swirling around my head. We try all these different things. Nothing seems to land, spinning our wheels, but getting some help to put the dots in order, connect the dots so you can get a result. Using your unique gifts. And the
Mm-hmm.
people who are tuning in have unique gifts too. They're already providing a lot of value. Just how do we get that message in front of their audience?
Absolutely. So with that being said, let's kind of like start off with the 30,000 foot view, and then we'll start to narrow down the scope. Let's just define the customer value journey and why you think it's worth accountants paying close attention to it.
So everything in business is about relationships. Business is between people. So we get caught up when we're thinking about marketing and we're thinking about tactics, we're thinking about apps, we're thinking about all these different things. But ultimately it's about relationships. So we need a process, we need a plan, we need a recipe so that we can get our message in front of our ideal prospects and then seamlessly and subtly guide them to become customers that pay, stay, and refer. And why do you think it's important to have a recipe or a process, something that's documented that you can follow? What do you
Okay.
think?
So part of what I'm hearing is that there's these firm owners, they want to do the work. They know that it can make a difference for their clients, but they don't necessarily have the right words to get in front of their ideal clients. So they end up with a whole mix of clients, or maybe they never get enough clients. And as a result of that, there's actually a very strategic way to start to be intentional in order to grow a firm with people that are a right fit for you.
Yes, I see the big mistakes a lot of people are making right now are they're trying too many things at once and not doing a good job at any of them, or they're overwhelmed by all the options, so they're not doing any of them,
Mhm.
or they're completely built their business only relying on referrals, which, don't get me wrong, referrals can be the best way that you grow your business. However, for some businesses, if their clients aren't the greatest now, they may have trouble getting ideal referrals. So some people, if you already have some really good clients, can refer you to like-minded clients. It's a great way. For others, they need to get started with a different approach because you can't get referred to people that you're not connected with.
Mhm.
So there's limitations.
And the other part of that, and I agree, referrals are amazing when you get them and they're the right people, but it makes you dependent on somebody else
Hmm.
for getting that next new client instead of you having something that you own. And with that thought, can you give me maybe an example of a client that you worked with and that before and after picture?
Yes. So just to tune back in real quick, the customer value journey is it's the recipe, it's the process. It's what you're going to do to get your message in front of your ideal customer and then guide them through the different stages of the business relationship. And I'll tell you, a lot of the people that I'll connect with, they have some customers right now, right? And I'll give you an example. I was working with Gina. She was an accountant who had been in business for about 20 years, and she started her business, smaller, and she took any business that she could
Mhm.
get, getting referred to. And that's the way sometimes you got to get started. You got to take what you can get. But over time, she grew, her capabilities grew, and sometimes it's really hard to start with a certain client batch, right? And they don't necessarily grow with you.
Mhm.
Sometimes they don't. And you need to go out and find new ideal clients, clients that fit where you're currently at. So in Gina's case, she was frustrated because she's working 60-hour work weeks, gaining weight, having marital challenges because she was keeping all these B, C, and sometimes D clients that were dragging her down. And we talked about, wouldn't it be, well, I asked her, because she's so frustrated. So wouldn't it be helpful if you can get rid of your C and D clients? And because they're dragging you down, they're not paying you enough. You're having to chase them down. They're making you spend all this time. And she said, well, I need the money, right? I can't just cut that off. I said, well, do you have any clients that you love working with? Any clients that are paying you, pretty good and that are easy to work with? She's like, yeah, I do have some. We call those A clients.
Hmm.
And I said, wouldn't it be cool if you can get more A clients? What would that do for you if you had just A clients? She said, oh my gosh, then everything would be awesome. I said, cool. Well, how are we going about doing that? She said, I don't know. I said, what if we created a customer value journey, really got clear on who your ideal customer is, and then created a plan to get your message in front of those people and then move those relationships forward. It's like, I really can't afford doing a lot of advertising. I've tried it in the past. It didn't give me the results I was looking for. I said, I'm not talking about advertising. I'm talking about a strategic way to get your message in front of your market and then simply guide those conversations forward in an authentic way that's not salesy.
Hmm.
So that would be great. Long story short, yada, yada, yada. She started to do that. We identified her ideal customers were attorneys, and we created a process where she would just reach out and connect and invite them to either a virtual event or to share a resource that she had. It was just a process. And by doing that consistently, imagine that. And she makes a lot of connections with her ideal prospects, shares how that she can provide that transformation, and then now she's getting ideal clients, freeing up her time, making her more profitable, and giving her the confidence to let go of those C and D clients.
And from what you're saying, there's a couple of things that come up is
Hmm.
firm owners, so many of them are client-centered and they develop relationships with their clients. They, like the majority of them, they end up tolerating a lot because of that. And there's some clients, from what I'm hearing, that don't grow with you.
Hmm.
They were great for when you engaged with them in the beginning, but with your professional development, they're not looking for that level of service that you want to now be able to provide and have the capabilities. So it's not that you're firing clients or they're a bad person or anything like that. A lot of them are good people. It's more that you need to do some type of recalibration to bring in people who are better fit for where you want to go, as opposed to the ones that are where you were in the past and they actually drag you down and they don't allow your firm to scale.
I do want to clarify, and I'm totally
Yep.
tuning in with you, Lauren. When I'm saying ranking clients, I'm definitely not talking about ranking the people. It's just where they're at from a client perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So don't feel bad if you're one of your best friends or one of your family members is actually a D client. It's nothing against them as a person, but if they're not profitable and they take more time, then and it's costing you money, that's not helping. And you got to make a decision as a business owner. I'll share a quick story that one of my best friends I had as a client from when I started my business, starting my business, and we worked together for almost a decade. As we both became fathers, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, we saw each other grow in many different ways, and I was happy for him. But what I realized over time is my capabilities and where I was at was different from where his needs were. And he still appreciated my service, and he had triplets out of nowhere. I mean, but
Bless
I,
his
I
heart.
came to the realization that, all right, he needs someone else that can give him a different level of attention. Now he's kind of like in my very small clients. He's not really paying that much. He can't really afford much more. And I want to make sure that he's getting the proper time and attention. And he deserves a different place at this point. And so it's just being authentic. Well, it was in my best interest to say, hey, I can help find you a different service provider, and it was in his best interest. So if you're in that spot, because I hear this, and I'm glad you brought it up, Lauren, if you're in that spot that you've got some clients you've had around for some time, and you're just carrying them along because they've supported you, it's time to put the business owner hat on, and you do care about people, but it's not a bad thing to make a business decision for what's best for you, and it's also a good opportunity for them. So you just want to make sure that people can
Mm-hmm.
see that perspective, because if you hold on for sentimental reasons, it could be hurting both sides, both parties.
Absolutely. So part of what you're saying is that sometimes it's in the best interest of everybody to release somebody so that they can find someone who's a better fit for where their needs are. And then you have the ability to be able to either fill that void with someone who's a better fit for you or focus on your attentions that you freed up now for something that's going to help your firm advance forward.
Yes.
And one thing that you mentioned about Gina, the accountant that you worked with,
Hmm.
is that she didn't have a marketing team or department. She didn't have a big budget, and she wasn't looking to overhaul everything, but she did want to be able to improve that client journey. So if somebody listening to us right now wanted to immediately start to improve their client journey, they see the value of it, what's something that they can implement quickly?
So the one thing, it's really easy, but a lot of people make it harder than it needs to be, is getting clear on who an ideal customer is. Who is an ideal customer for you? And just writing it out is a starting point. What are their demographics? What are their age? What's the size of their business? Is there a location that they need to be in? Are they in a particular industry? What are their interests? What associations are they a part of? What groups do they participate in? Where do they hang out online or in person? What conferences do they go to? Because if you can know who your ideal customer is, then it's just a matter of getting your message in front of them, but not a message of, hey, I have something to sell you. If you're pushing your message, you'll push people away. It's if you have these challenges and want these aspirations, you have these aspirations, I have a process that can help you get rid of the challenges so you can get to where you want to go. And if I can be of service, that's what I'm here for. And just by connecting with people and sharing, you don't have to sell anything. You don't have to push your process on anyone. You don't have to put a lot of crazy marketing tools and tactics out there. But you do need a plan,
Mm-hmm.
and you do need to have consistency. And so the question you asked, the one thing that you could do is really getting clear on that ideal customer. And I'll just put a caveat to this. I'm a big fan of saying choose an industry to start with. Now, you may not want to niche your whole business on an industry. That's the pushback a lot of people have. Well, I can serve so many different businesses, and I can serve so many
Mm-hmm.
different industries. I don't want to necessarily niche my business. So that's okay. You don't have to do that. But if you're going to really get focused with marketing, then you should get focused with marketing. And you can start with an industry because that will help you cater your message to that market. Because what works for an attorney or a law practice, that message is going to be different for a construction worker or for a real estate firm or for a marketing agency. Their pains, their challenges, and what they'll understand and listen from you, although you still may provide the same service, how you communicate with them will make a difference. And if you know exactly who your ideal customer is, you say, I'm going to really focus on uh, trades companies. Now you could say, well, what's an association? What's an association that trades companies are a part of? Maybe I can offer to do a presentation for one of their chapters. And just by having that focus, that starts at least putting your marketing in a focused direction. If you're trying to help everyone, you're trying to get your message going to everyone, it ends up going to no one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a radio station that plays reggae, and then they play rap, and then they play heavy metal, and then they play opera and country. You'd be like, what is this? So, ideal customer, write it down, get clear, and try to choose an industry, and just know that you're not committing your whole online presence to that. It's just your marketing campaign would be focused on that.
I will let you know, Kenny, that that is something that I have gone through also. It is a process. For me, what I started with is who I don't want to work with
Mm-hmm.
and got rid of all those particular industries because they attracted a certain personality type and they weren't a good fit for me. And then it was the process of, okay, who do I want to work with? And it took several years for me to start to narrow it down. First, I went from service-based entrepreneurs, and then I went to a combination of marketers as well as accounting firm owners. I liked the variety of the two different personalities. And then finally, I decided, okay, I need to really just own one. And when I made the decision to focus on the accounting firm owners, it actually made things easier, not harder, because as you mentioned, I knew exactly where to focus all my attention, my energies, my efforts, and I got more clarity about what their specific challenges were, aspirations, which affected my messaging. So with anybody that's listening to us, he's not just talking about something pie in the sky. He's talking about something that actually works. And there's a reason that you want to get focused, because the more that you can tune into what's going on with them, the more they're going to be able to hear you through all the noise that's out there. So this is a way of being able to grab attention and get noticed by those ideal clients.
Imagine if you're listening into a message or you're seeing something going through your stream just for a second. And if you just see, hey, business owners who are looking to grow, does that speak to you? Probably not. Hey, if you're an accounting firm, you own an accounting firm and you're working 60 hours a week, but not making your ideal paycheck, would you like to ensure that your team is aligned so that you're achieving your goals and you can actually work 3 days a week for the first time? Something like that might resonate with someone who's in that space. It will hit them. It's like it hits the nail on the head. And you probably could think of something in your life where you heard it and you're just like, that's speaking to me. And that's really what an effective marketing message is. And Lauren, I really appreciate you sharing your journey of kind of finding a pathway there.
Mhm.
It does take time. I also had took a long time, even being in marketing and knowing the importance of niching. I was having trouble figuring that out at first. But if you've been having trouble, the suggestion is, again, don't think it's like black or white. You need to change your whole online presence or all your marketing messages. Just have a focus in to start with when you're reaching out to build relationships. Just say, I'm going to focus. I want to get a new company. I want to start working with a few new companies in e-commerce. And that sets an intention, and then you could start making a little progress there. You can
Mhm.
always change it. It's not solidifying anything forever, but it's just having an intention in getting started. Overthinking prevents any action.
Yep.
Taking one action starts getting you moving, and then once you take that action, you'll see things different, and you can always adapt.
This is the message. You have to get out of research and into the action stage. Just one small step starts the journey. So part of what we were talking about earlier is that having this specific client experience and the journey that you take people through actually can have an impact on referrals as well as your revenue. So how does that engagement lead to better qualified referrals?
I'll give you an example, personal example, what worked for me. So prior to the pandemic, I had a lot of clients in the health and wellness space. It was, they were just someone we had vein centers, chiropractors, things of that nature. Pandemic hit, they had to lower their marketing budget,
Mm.
and I was like, oh no, that's our niche. And I did have a CPA that I had worked with years prior. And so that's one of the reasons that we partner with other accountants and CPAs because I realized, hey, I've got some marketing resources that could be helpful for your clients. I could put on a webinar if you'd find that helpful. He said, that would be great. So I showed up, built a relationship, right? It's all about relationships, and just provided value to him and his clients. He got valuable information that he was able to give in a good experience to his clients. In that webinar, I didn't try to sell anything. I'm not trying to push anything. I just shared, here's some things that could be helpful in this time period. And that opened up opportunities. Because I built a good relationship with the CPA owner, he invited me to facilitate at an event at a mastermind that he participated in, full of other tax planners and CPAs and accountants. Can you imagine that if you're facilitating for a group of people and you have an advocate for you, that would probably be a good opportunity. And a mastermind event, if you're not familiar, is basically an event where a lot of people come together and share ideas. So I was able to get in front of people and met new relationships and got new business from that. And those people had other communities, and I continued to do the same thing. It's finding a way to give and provide value and serve your clients and potentially even help their connections. So by just thinking, I'm going to provide more value to more people. I'm going to look for ways to do that. I'm going to amplify. It comes back full circle. So that just has gotten me to so many different opportunities from speaking at Scaling New Heights to being able to visit and attend Mike McAllowitz events to being able to speak at GrowCon with Universal Accounting. Just all these opportunities, you can come back to just having that one relationship and then having a strategy to cultivate advocates and promoters. So it's part of that customer value journey. It's not just about getting the business, it's about retaining that business and then cultivating your advocates and promoters so that they can get out the word for you, providing good value.
So basically, everybody that's listening, Kenny did not use the word sell even one time in that whole journey. Amplification is about having strategic relationships and then being able to give first, being able to provide value and serve. And by doing that, which is really the golden rule that they teach you in kindergarten of give before you get, something will come back to you as a result of that. So really think about marketing, not as pitching and selling and getting. It is really about giving and serving, which is so aligned with client-centered firm owners. So I appreciate you kind of breaking that down. And that makes me think about, okay, there's this whole shift that's going on in the profession right now. It is evolving, and some people are going with it and really embracing. Others are a little bit resistant because they don't like change. So compliance mode, it is where most firm owners start out because that's the traditional way of doing business and it's what they know. But right now, it's also about the move into advisory services. So how can we maybe start to weave in those advisory services without it actually adding to the workload?
All right. So couple distinctions I'd like to make
Yeah.
that I think would be helpful. The first thing is because I see this all the time. Someone's calling themselves a bookkeeper, that they offer bookkeeping services, and then trying to introduce some higher level advisory package, and they're having trouble doing it. And they need to start with changing their identity, not who they are, but how they show up, and saying, I'm going to offer bookkeeping services, but I'm an advisor who offers bookkeeping services It's a small shift in identity. So that's important because if people can understand and appreciate that you're a business advisor, they'll be able to take that advice differently than if they're seeing you offer a commoditized service. It's perception. I know a
Mm-hmm.
lot of bookkeepers who've given great advice to their customers. They don't charge for it, and then they think they can't offer advisory services, but they are already doing it. So if they can identify themselves as I am a business advisor who offers bookkeeping services, who can offer, advisory service as well. And you got to be able to believe it in your mind first. And you already are doing it if you're already connecting with people and helping them with their numbers. It's not anything much harder than helping people see what their numbers are and helping them create some goals and giving them some guidance along the way. So that's one, just changing the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Two would be creating creating a package. So that once you identify the mindset first, you do need to differentiate the service. If you can't just charge more, you can get a hamburger from anywhere, right? You can get hamburgers anywhere. You can only get the Whopper from Burger King. You can only get the Big Mac from McDonald's. So by creating your own package of what you're going to be offering and what it includes and sharing that transformation of how you can help someone get rid of the challenges that they're facing with and help them achieve what they aspire to have, that's all you need to do. It's not about pushing a package or trying to sell it. It's enrolling people that you have a process to help them make that transformation. If they have cash flow issues, if they're not profitable, if they don't have financial clarity, you have a proven process that can help them get that financial clarity, improve their cash flows, and become profitable. It's just sharing it, being confident with it, and introducing people. And the last thing I'll say on it, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
going a little long here, my favorite way is just to have help people assess their business. That's it. You don't even need to push your service. Help them assess a few different areas in their business. You're bound to find some things that needed some improving, and then just share that you have a way that you can help them if they'd like it.
Okay, so you're going into one of my rants is that if you are a firm owner and clients are coming to you with questions, then and you're answering them, you're already advising. You are just not probably getting compensated for it, and it is being undervalued by you as well as by your clients because of that. So what you need to do is flip and lead with the advisement that you do, and then let them know that you also happen to do the bookkeeping or the accounting or the tax that goes with that so that it is more aligned and strategic. And some of the things that Kenny was mentioning about to be able to make this happen is first of all, it's a mindset thing. You have to start looking at yourself differently and how you are able to put it out there. So start recognizing that, yes, you already are an advisor if you're answering their questions. The next thing is get away from that a la carte laundry list of services that you offer and start to package your services so that they are outcome benefit driven and appeal to the challenges or the aspirations that people want you to be able to help them with. And that goes into the third thing is communicate the process. So you need to have the words, whether it's on your website, your social media, when you're talking with someone about how you lead with the advisement and you happen to do the bookkeeping, the accounting, the tax that goes along with that. So change the mindset, create the packages, and communicate the process is the way to start building in the advisory part of it without adding any additional hours. Did I miss anything to that, Kenny?
No, that was a great recap. I pulled that ID part from James Clear's book, Atomic Habits.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start changing your habits. Atomic habits are just little small adjustments over time. First thing you could do if you're listening in and you're like, I really do want to start selling advisory services, but I don't know if I'm ready. I think I need another certification. I don't start right now, leave today, just say I'm an
Mm-hmm.
advisor. I'm going to claim it because you do advise. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to be a few steps ahead of someone else that you're leading. That's it. If you know a few more things than your clients know, then you can advise them. That's all you need to know. Claim it today. Start calling yourself an advisor and do it with confidence.
Okay, so one last question that I have is, once again, the bigger firms, they have marketing departments, they're able to outsource, they have the marketing budgets, but those smaller firms, the ones that are solo and maybe 10, 15 people on staff, they don't necessarily have the budgets or the departments. So once again, is there anything else that they ought to be aware of to start to implement this into their process to attract that ideal client to them?
Well, it is part of our shameless plug that we'll say the first thing, ideal customer, right? Know who your ideal customer is, and then document the customer value journey. What is the process that you're going to begin taking to get your message in front of your ideal market? And then what are the steps you're going to take to move the relationship forward? Rather than needing to do 10 different things and be on all these social media platforms and try to create so much content that's probably not going
Mm-hmm.
to get seen because everything's flooded anyway, what can you do to be more intentional? Because if you did one thing really, really well and optimized it and filled in all the gaps, it'd be more effective than trying to do 10 things and not really having any of them working. It's going to be much more rewarding as well. So the customer value journey is just documenting the plan to move the relationship from the beginning all the way to customer, all the way to advocate. When you have it documented, you can make sure you're doing it consistently. You can optimize it so it runs like an engine.
This is like any other workflow in your business. This is a process. It's not throwing spaghetti at the wall and necessarily seeing what sticks. But there is going to be some testing to it. However, you just need to have that one thing. You're already busy. You can't do 10 things anyway, but just one thing that you're willing to do to be strategic about who it is you want to serve and how you want them to know about you so you no longer remain that best kept secret. So anyway, Kenny, we talked about a lot of stuff. You made
Yeah.
some really powerful points today. I always appreciate our conversations. And some of the things we covered is how to be able to improve the client experience, to be able to get better referrals, discovering client journey strategies that grow your accounting firm, and finding out how to build client loyalty without working those additional hours. So if somebody wants to be able to reach out, find out more about you, the growth amplifiers, what's the best way for them to do that?
You can go to growthamplifiers.com. You can go to kennyharper.rocks. It's ROCKS, Kenny Harper. You could look me up on LinkedIn. If you go to growthamplifiers.com/amplify, you can get a free copy of our advisor's playbook, which outlines the different stages of the customer value journey. We'll give you examples of how you can map out your customer value journey. We're not the type of people who are out there trying to push anything on anyone. We're looking to build relationships. One of the reasons we're connecting with people, like Lauren, is because we want to build relationships with other advisors. We have value journey workshops that we put on. If you have clients you may have that are looking to grow and improve, we have workshops, we have trainings, we have resources that we will share just to make a bigger impact. Why do we do that? Because we know it comes back, right? It's full circle. Just like when we served the CPA, provided value to his clients, it comes back to you. We lead by providing value. So growthamplifiers.com/amplify. Get your advisor's playbook. And if all you did was learn one idea that would help you improve your results, make your life a little easier, wouldn't it be worth it?
So go ahead, grab the playbook. It is no obligation. He's freely giving you because he knows that that is the first step to amplification, and he walks his talk. So go ahead and get some insights. Just take one small step today that you can start to move forward with being intentional about the client journey. Kenny, thank you so much for the engaging conversation.
Thank you. I'm excited to be on your podcast and excited to have you be a guest on Growth Amplifiers podcast, which will be coming out here in the next few weeks. You
Mm-hmm.
definitely want to check out Lauren's conversation because we're going to make it extra fun. We're going to be doing some extra things. She's not even aware of what's going to go down yet. Just kidding.
Oh, can't wait till the surprise.
She's like, oh my gosh.
You know what? It's about giving information and making sure that it is something that sticks. So I'm sure you're going to find something sticky that's going to just rock me out. Anyway, this is Lauren Fogelman with Business Success Solution, showing accounting firm owners how to be able to double their revenues while working half the time.